Daily Broadside to 913. Well, obviously, all the news is Charlie Kirk got assassinated today, and I hate that for him. First of all, I hate it for his family and his little 2-year-old and 3-year-old, whatever old they are. It's just not how somebody should lose a parent. Life is hard enough without that kind of crap. But I think that the biggest takeaway from this for me is, as beautiful as a country as we have, the greatest country in the history of humankind, this can be such a crappy place sometimes. And it's surprising to me that this stuff doesn't happen more often with 350 million people. There's some whack jobs out there and all that would easily push the envelope if given the chance. It's just surprising that it's so rare. But when you go back, RFK, JFK, MLK, Malcolm X, Harvey Milk, numerous presidential attempts. It's just none of that should ever happen. The fact that you would not agree with somebody and their ideology to the point that you would want to end their life, that undermines everything there is to know about this country, and the First Amendment and the freedom of expression. As long as that dude's not out there like inciting people to violence and riotous behavior and the things that are limited by the First Amendment, he should be able to say whatever he wants, whether you agree with it or not. There's not a person out there, and I disagree with a lot of talking heads out there, a lot of people, a lot of public figures. I don't agree with a lot of them. But there's not one of them that I would want to have assassinated because I don't agree with them, ideologically speaking. That's just so stupid, And the fact that you would, go to the extent that was gone to today to stop somebody from expressing their own freedom of expression in this fine country just tells me that you don't deserve the fine institutions that this country has to offer in the first place. It's just dumb, There's 2 little kids that don't have a father now because somebody didn't agree with something a 31-year-old man who died too young was saying. Okay. And I liked him. I thought he was very well read, very intelligent. I thought he was a fair arguer. I thought he let people speak their mind and then, debated them. And tried to close their arguments and all that. I don't agree with every single thing he said, and all that stuff. But for the most part, I didn't have any problems with him, But, then you see people like Obama and Kamala and all express their condolences. And the fact that they do that, even though ideologically speaking, they don't agree on much, that left and right faction between Charlie and them and what. I'm sure there's not a lot of common ground they would have, and that's fine. But they recognize the fact that, you're allowed to say that kind of stuff. And, they gave their condolences because they're humans. And, while again, they might not agree with him, at least, they understand the fact that he's free to say what he wants to say. It's just stupid. It's so senseless. It's so senseless. And I don't even think we know who did it yet, but I imagine in the next 12 hours we will, because it shouldn't be hard to track down even in such a large crowd. But it's just sad that that's the state of our country, that, you say something, or you go out in public to say something and somebody shuts you down, not just verbally, but, life-wise, if that's a word. So my condolences, thoughts, and prayers, and go to, Kirk's family, especially his 2 little kids who shouldn't have to grow up without a dad. The only solace there is that, when they get old enough to understand everything, they'll have hundreds of hours of, video footage of their dad, and, they can go back and kind of unpack all the things that he did, and maybe they agree, maybe they don't. But the point is, like, most people don't even have that, they just lose a parent, and, there's a few pictures or whatever. But it's just really sad again. And I've probably said that too many times, but that's just not how this country is supposed to be. I don't care what you believe. So anywho, kind of a humdrum day, but again, tomorrow's 9/11. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing as a country here? It's just not the way to do things. But anyway, y'all have a good one.